welcome back to Evermore YouTube channel. It's Chris back with my rant stroke thought of the day. And may I have your attention, please? Will the real Jim Shady please stand up? I repeat, will the real Jim Shady please stand up? That's right. This video is all about Sir Jim Ratcliffe, or Sir Jim Twatcliffe, as I have christened him now, the new Manchester United co-owner, 27% stake he has. That's right, Manchester United fans, he doesn't own you outright, contrary to what you may think in your crazy little dreamland. He has been talking to the media all about his plans for Manchester United, and oh my word, this bloke is as slippery as an eel in a suit. He is horrendous. So I'm going to get stuck into that. So this is a Newcastle channel, not a Manchester United channel. So let's get right to the bit where he talks about Newcastle. He was pushing the Dan Ashworth thing. He said firstly he wouldn't want to talk about it. He didn't want to get drawn into it. And then he then proceeded to be drawn into it. And he had a bit of a moan about it. He gave the owners a bit of a backhand compliment, saying they've done a really good job so far. But listen, I can understand they're upset because Dan wants the best job in world football. But I don't see any point in him sitting down for 18 months. That serves nobody's purpose. Him sitting on his backside doing nothing. And I won't be drawn into the figures and all this crap. But let's be honest with you. It serves nobody for Dan Ashworth to sit on his arse for 18 months. We are owned by some of the richest people in the world, right? If they want to keep that guy sat on his arse for 18 months, they can afford to do so. If you don't want to pay the bill, mate, then that's your problem. If you can't afford to do it, that's your problem. If we're going to leave a director of football away from going to a competitor club against us, whatever Manchester United fans think, we're all pushing for that kind of top four position in Manchester United and Newcastle. That's where we are. We finished in fourth last season. They finished in third. We probably won't finish fourth this season. They may very well sneak into the top four, but we are very much in that same kind of channel of Premier League positions. So if we leave Dan Ashworth sitting on his arse for 18 months because your tight owner, Shady Jim, won't pay the bill, that's no skin off our nose. Fuck him. We'll leave him on the bench. He can rot for 2 years. We'll go and get all the targets that were lined up that Ashworth was part of the transfer committee talking about. Yes, he didn't identify them fully. I hate to remind you about that Manchester United. He didn't sign Botman. He didn't sign Bruno. He didn't sign Isak. He didn't even sign Yakubu Minta, who's doing a good job at Feyenoord. Steve Nixon spotted him. He was involved in the transfer committee that got the deals over the line, but he didn't spot the players. So leave him on his arse for 2 years as far as I'm concerned. Fuck him. But again, going about with this most coveted job in world football, yes, Manchester United are a huge club, but you are not the Manchester United you once were. And believe you me, if Real Madrid calls Dan Ashworth up in the next 3 years and he's at Manchester United and they say, hola Dan, ¿cómo estás? And ask him how much money he wants, he will probably fuck off and leave you lot high and dry for Real Madrid in a heartbeat, because that seems to be his mantra, doesn't it? But anyway, that's what he said about Dan Ashworth. I thought was quite humorous. You can see he's rattled, you can see he's annoyed. But this to me, if I'm a Manchester United fan, I'd be having some serious red flags coming off here. This bloke is worth 21 billion. He's refusing to pay the bill to release this director of football because he thinks he can do some bullying tactics, run into the boardroom waving his cock left to right and think that everyone's going to shit themselves and let you take a key member of staff. That ain't going to happen in football, mate. Doesn't matter if it's Newcastle, Brighton. What happens if he bins off Ten Hag and he goes after De Zerbi, or if he goes after Ange? What, is he going to refuse to pay the release fee to Spurs and Brighton? Accordingly, they'll tell you to fuck off as well, mate. So this is the real world you're in. You may have been a powerhouse in whatever field you were in, and when you owned in Nice in France, you might have been able to maybe have a little bit of stroke there outside of Monaco, PSG, Marseille. But you ain't going to come into this league and start throwing your fucking weight around, mate, and expect people to give you key personnel. That's just not how it happens. So that's one big issue, one big red flag. The other one, massively, was the stadium. I mean, this guy is unbelievable. 21 billion this guy's worth. All of his money is offshore, the tax dodging bastard that he is. This guy sounds like he could be Mike Ashley just with a better diet and a bit more eloquence. That's what he is, because he's a fucking shyster. He's trying to say that fans, taxpayers, should be footing the bill for the redevelopment of Old Trafford. I mean, this guy's unbelievable. He said it with a straight face to the interviewer. And the interviewer was saying, do you really think the taxpayers should fit the bill? And he started banging on about how the North deserves a powerhouse stadium, somewhere that can host, Champions League finals, somewhere that can host FA Cup finals. Well, I hate to tell you this, Jim, but the North, Hampden Park, hosted a final fucking years ago, mate, and that was absolutely fine. Zidane scored a great volley, if you remember, for Real Madrid. So that has already happened, you fucking knob cheese. So maybe you should go back and look at your football history before you start spouting a load of bollocks to these journalists. And the guy just reeks of arrogance. He's perfectly fit to Manchester United, because the delusion and the arrogance is unprecedented within that fan base. It really is. They were a great club once upon a time, but it fucking ain't now. They've slipped well behind the noisy neighbours of Manchester City, who they used to laugh at when they were playing Gillingham away in League One. Look at them now. All of the copious amounts of money that they've reinvested into Manchester. I was in Manchester just the other day there. and there's skyscrapers being built all over the shop, and there's loads of cranes everywhere, and that's to do with City bringing in business contacts to invest in the city. They haven't gone and asked the taxpayer for any money for that, but this fucking knacker, old Ratcliffe, thinks he can go and get the government on speed dial to get them to come and help fix all the cracks and crannies on Manchester United. Well, I'm sorry, go and speak to your greedy American mates, the Glazers, who pocketed money for years, and ask them where the money is for the redevelopment of that stadium. Newcastle's owners didn't do the same thing either. Mike Ashley left St James's Park crumbling and rotten at the seams. What makes me laugh about this is everything that Jim Ratcliffe's saying could honestly be from the Mike Ashley school of ownership. And all the Manchester United fans and your legends like Rio Ferdinand laughed at us when Ashley was pulling this shit. This guy looks like Mike Ashley all over for me. He really does. And the shit that he's coming out with is incredible. It really, really is. Then he talks about Ferguson again, the ghost of Christmas past. It makes me wonder if none of these modern day managers are succeeding at Old Trafford because the ghost of Christmas past keeps rattling around the hallways as a constant reminder of what you used to be and the pressure that they're under to get you back there. I don't see Wenger hanging around like a bad smell at the Emirates all the time, or Keegan rocking up at St James's Park bouncing off the walls. So that's just another thing. I know he's a legend, is Fergie, but maybe it's time to focus on the future instead of the past. But oh no, so Jim Ratcliffe pulled that bingo card out just to keep the Manchester United fans happy, probably Goldbridge and the rest of the fucking idiots. They're all jumping up and down, but this guy to me reeks of a pound shop Richard Branson, trying to do it all on the sly. He's slippery as fuck. He could be an MP. He's full of shit that much. And don't even get me started about what he said about Mason Greenwood. That was very insensitive and very tone deaf, in my opinion, the way that he verbalised that in the appointment. So the interview, I beg your pardon, I'm not going to talk about that at all because I don't want any shit in the comments. But I think if he brings Greenwood back with open arms, that's another problem for them to deal with as a commercial entity that they are, and a football club and everything else that goes with it. Yeah, so that's my view on Sir Jim Ratcliffe. I think he's an absolute shyster, and they've gone from a sheikh to a shady bastard, in my opinion, in terms of the owner of the football club, or the co-owner of the football club. If you think this guy's going to take you to the promised land in the next 3 to 5 years, think again, because he looks like he's trying to do everything on the cheap. And my God, every single football fan can see through you like a pane of glass, mate. The whole thing about the taxpayer in the stadium, that's a way to dodge FFP. Fuck right off. If everybody pulled that card, and if Everton pulled that card, they wouldn't have got done for the points with the building their new stadium. So what an absolute crock of shit that is. And he's basically treating football fans like morons, which we're not. We can see right through your shit, Sir Jim. So that's my thoughts about that. Let us know what you guys think in the comments below about this shady bastard. Certainly you Newcastle fans about him not paying the bill. And Manchester United fans, we always welcome your comments. If you want to be sensible and put some comments in, we'll engage with you. Are you concerned that this guy seems to be unwilling to pay the fee for Ashworth, and he's trying to do the stadium redevelopment on the cheap? Is he basically chanced his arm? Is he a bit of a chancer? Let us know what you guys think in the comments. We always like to hear from you. But if you just want to hurl loads of abuse and shit, then crack on, whatever. We'll either just laugh at you and ignore you, or we'll hit you back with some quips. But if you like what you see, like, subscribe, come be part of the Evermore community. We're over 6,600 subs now. Loads of room for you here. We'll be back with some more Newcastle United content. We've got the FA Cup and Arsenal coming. Keep it Evermore, guys. Have a cracking day. We'll see you later. Cheers.